Greetings, full of sausages, it's the Countess, and recently I have been trying out some new art styles. For me personally, I've been trying to expand my palette, and so after trying some more realistic work slightly in terms of texture, which I'll pop a preview of up on the screen, I decided to try Animal Jam style. So I've looked up some top 10 lists of animals that should come to Jama so that I can maybe make some edits. And it came to my attention that a very popular opinion on what one of the future animals of Jama should be is the snake. And personally, I don't ever think that the snake could be a playable animal in Jama as much as I do love snakes in person and as much as I want one in person. So without further ado, here are my top 10 reasons why I don't ever think that snakes will come to Jama as a playable animal. Up at number 1 is leg and feet armor. Now, I think that it's no secret that elf cuffs, spiky knee pads, and glitched rings, various other feet items are very popular, whether they range up towards the torso in the form of a leg armor, or whether they're more of a shoe type. They're very popular, and even if they're not worn a lot, it's still a big part of Animal Jam to introduce new feet items. For example, even though the shoe items are not worn by a lot of people, it's still a very big thing for Animal Jam to introduce feet style wear. Now with the snake, you just in general wouldn't be able to have this. Now granted, some people could argue that you could have those feet armor such on the tail, but then where do you put the tail armor? So long story short, there just really wouldn't be a place to put the feet armor on a snake. Up at number 2 on the list is the inability to distinguish between the different body parts of a snake. Now snakes are very similar body-wise all over. The only really difference is the head. So truthfully, the neck, torso, and tail of a snake all sort of blend into one shape and they just get more slender as you go on, but it's still the same tube-like area and it doesn't really cut off anywhere, so you can't really distinguish which part of the snake is specifically its neck, middle body, or the end of it. So in terms of body armor, neck armor, and tail armor, or just those items in general, it doesn't have to be an armored variation. Really, it would be kind of hard for Animal Jam to figure out where exactly to put them on the snake and where one part of the snake ends and one part begins. For example, if they put tail armor on the snake, then it would be very hard for them to figure out where to cut that off and how to transition into some sort of body armor. Next is item variation. Now, this one is a little bit more specific and it has to do with the fact that some items have a similar pattern or a similar color scheme, and the only thing that distinguishes them is either where they're placed or sort of the shape and appearance of them when they're actually on the animal. And in some instances, this just would not work very well with the snake, and I'm going to give specific examples because this one's a little bit harder to picture than the other ones. For example, items like the friendship bracelet, or truthfully any type of bracelet, or the spiked glove, or any glove, only go on one of the paws of your animal. This is also the case with items like the doctor's bag, where it only applies to one leg. So there are a lot of items like this. I would say that it takes up at least 40% of the items that are in the foot section, and that's just me, the non-expert, saying this. But with a snake, because you would only really be able to put one of these on if you tried to do it, it really wouldn't work because you would have one doctor's bag, but you would also have one elf cuff because it would only be a single place and you wouldn't be able to stack them up on the snake because it wouldn't have 4 limbs, it would just have the one solid flowing limb. So items that only have one paw covered and items that have all 4 paws covered would look essentially the same on the snake. It is the same sense with items like the egg cloak that cover an entire area of the body. This is not the situation like with the feet items where it is multiple of something, but it does cover one entire area. But as you can see, the feet, the head, and the tail are still sticking out. But with the snake, since you cannot figure out which part of the body is which, and it doesn't even have the feet to begin with, you just wouldn't really have variation in this versus something like wings that are just covering a small part of the body, and you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference because the egg would only be covering a small part of the body as well. At number 4, we have the fact that Animal Jam is indeed made for little kids, and a lot of little kids are scared of snakes. And this works out fine when they're just a pet because they're quite small and they're fine. And in general, Animal Jam's style is just very cutesy, so it wouldn't really be scary to children. But in terms of popularity, the fact that a lot of people don't like snakes would be even less likely for them to be used. Now, granted, pretty much any animal that comes into the diamond shop is going to be quickly discarded for Arctic wolves, but in general, I just feel like a snake would have a much less chance of any other animal because they're just not very popular. Next up is the fact that snakes could actually possibly add to the Animal Jam mating issue. Now, I'm not entirely sure how Animal Jam would animate all of the snake's different actions, but probably some sort of movement, whether it be walking as a snake or whatever, would be some sort of slithering, and hopping could also be quite strange. Especially, I kind of imagine that Animal Jam would make it sort of a spring animation, but I think that you could see that potentially if people can make just about any other animal mate in Animal Jam, I definitely think that snakes would not be helping the case whatsoever. So up at number 6, we have the fact that a lot of patterns probably wouldn't work very well with snakes as they do with a lot wider animals because snakes are quite slender, which means that the patterns would have to be shrunk in some way. Now, snakes could probably work with patterns like this one because it could go around the snake, and definitely all sorts of spots could work on a snake. But once you get to a little bit more detailed patterns like this one, the one that I typically use, the lightning bolts, even the leaves and the hearts, they're actually pretty thick, and so if you shrunk them to fit on a slender shape, it wouldn't look very good, and you probably wouldn't be able to tell that it was a heart or that they were flames. And in general, it would just be a very distorted image because they would have to wrap it around so that it would fit on the snake, and it just would not fit very well. So up at number 7 doesn't actually have to do with the snake itself, but more something metaphorically that the snake could provide. Now, Animal Jam is all about anti-bullying, it's a safe place, and it's safe for children. It's very kid-friendly, very PG-G even, and truthfully, there's a lot of things that Animal Jam has caught on to. For example, people, when they're trying to advertise social media like Instagram, we used to say install, and now you cannot say install in the right context anymore. So they've caught on to a lot of our slang terms that we used to get around the different Animal Jam chat filters. So if a snake was added in Jamaa, I have the feeling that the term snake or the word snake would become a lot more popular because people would be talking about the animals and such, and they would have a very physical embodiment of the snake. And in general, it could just cause a little bit of issues. If you're not familiar, I'm not going to go into depth because I don't want this to be floating around the internet that Countess taught children about insults. But it is an insult to people to call people snakes. Up at number 8 is the demographic of snakes. So in general, snakes are not liked by certain people. I could definitely say many, but there's also certain demographics in Animal Jam that people use truthfully on any animal. For example, what I'm talking about in this particular situation is the cutesy girl princess vibe. A lot of people do it with Arctic wolves or snow leopards or Arctic foxes, and you know what I'm talking about, the pinks and the purples and the girly eyes, all of the bows and the necklaces, the friendship bracelets, all of the cutesy items and the heart patterns, that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be for everyone because I actually grew up around some kids who bred snakes for a living. Like their parents bred snakes, and so they just grew up around snakes and they were very comfortable with them, and that was kind of their interest. And that's actually how I started growing an interest in snakes, and I was around them a lot when I was younger, so I actually grew to love huge snakes and just all snakes in general. However, snakes can't really fit the cute feel. Up at number 9 is the use of snakes. So chances are, if snakes were to come to Jamaa and they were popular, people would be using them for adventures such as Tiki Trouble, which I am currently playing. And a massive part of a lot of adventures like this, such as Graham's Workshop, blah blah blah, whatever. Truthfully, any adventure where you play it repetitively to earn rares, you end up smashing things like this. And I think that everyone knows there are items that make this go faster. Not going to go in depth on what those items are, because that's not what this video is about. But a lot of them are hand, feet, paw, leg items, which we've already established that the snakes can't use. Up at our final number 10 is Best Dressed. I think it's a very well-known fact that Best Dressed is arguably the best minigame ever, and it's very popular. In fact, it's what some people just do in Animal Jam, and it's pretty much all that some people do. So Best Dressed is a very big thing, and part of what makes animals so popular is their ability to wear items well and create matching outfits well, which is also very popular in Best Dressed. Some animals are popular only in Best Dressed and not in regular Animal Jam because people don't just like to play them for their main look, but people do think that they make looks and wear items very well, which means that they're popular in Best Dressed. So even if an animal can't be popular regularly, if it can wear items well, then it will be good at Best Dressed and it will be popular there. So the final chance for the snake would have been Best Dressed, but just in general, I don't really see you being able to make a lot of really cool matching looks with snakes because of all the things that we've already established. This is kind of one big giant reason where all the mini reasons are mashed up. First, we have leg armor can't be used. Second, we have patterns can't be used. I mean, truthfully, a lot of stuff that really ties together the look just can't really be used. So there you have it, you guys. That is my top 10 reasons why I don't believe that snakes will ever come to Jamaa, although I kind of hope that my list is contradicted and snakes do come to Jamaa as a playable animal, because I would definitely play a snake, and I might have to reconsider my main look because I'm a massive fan of snakes. But, I mean, obviously if I can come up with a bazillion reasons why snakes aren't coming to Jamaa, they probably aren't coming to Jamaa. So I hope that you all enjoyed this. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe leave a like and comment below whether or not you think that snakes are coming to Jamaa. And if you believe that my reasons can be debunked, then please let me know in the comments, because I love to talk to people about my theories in the comments. Or if you even have another reason that could go onto this list, let me know. Who knows? Maybe I'll make another video like this and I can use some of your reasons. So if you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe today to become an official fabulous sausage. I will see all of you next time, but for now, Countess out.